Welcome back to the Francisca Show, a Jewish coffeehouse podcast, where we encourage fellow artists and entrepreneurs to collaborate and support each other while sharing their stories. I am Francisca, a singer, composer, music producer, coach, and also your host. Thank you so much for coming back, and thank you so much to all of you, and you know who you are, who have been reaching out to me and starting up the conversation, introducing yourself to me. Every week, there are more and more women out there and some men, and I love hearing from you. Just before I introduce the Dobby interview that we did last week live on Instagram and Zoom, and we had probably 250 people watching live, which was so amazing. The topic is 5 mistakes that you should know about and avoid that Dobby Baum has personally experienced. Anyway, I want to talk about my challenge that's happening next week. It's completely free and is designed specifically for art, music, dance, and vocal teachers who already have existing businesses and want to earn and learn how to earn an extra $1,000 a month, or just $1,000 extra dollars. Or if you're thinking of starting a creative business, this challenge might be for you. It's a free 4-day training with some friendly competition and motivation and accountability. So I hope you do join. If you'd like to, please message me or email me at franciscak@gmail.com. Send me your email address via message and let me know you want to join. And without further ado, enjoy the show. Dobby, this has been such a long time coming. I'm so happy you're on the show finally. And I'm so excited to really go into your story and share your story with everyone. And I hope everyone who knows you already will get to know you a little better. So welcome to the show, Dobby.
Thanks. It's such an honor being here. Like, seriously, I'm really excited. And nervous, both, like
You're nervous.
Yeah,
where's that coming from?
I get nervous, really.
I don't blame you. The jitters never really go away. Well, somebody, A.B. Rottenberg, just said, with age, they go away.
Really?
We'll see. When I'm a grandmother, I'll let you know if they go away.
Just want to give a shout out. Hi to my mother that's watching from London, and I see my nieces there.
Oh, I'd love to see more faces.
On Zoom. Hi, Mommy.
This is awesome. Hi, everyone who's watching. This is really hard for me to keep track of and see more and be more interactive. I'll try. But okay, so let's just get started here. To anyone who does not know so much about you, or even if they do, give us a little bit of a background on your background, where you grew up, and the accent a little bit gives it away, but tell us where you grew up and how did you get started in the arts?
Okay, so I grew up in London. I actually was born in Stamford Hill, London, but I moved to Edgware when I was 7 years old. It was a really big move. It was like an hour away from where I went to school and, community and family and everything. And I lived there till I got married. And Edgware is such an amazing community. I grew to love it. The beginning was really challenging and hard. And now I look forward to coming back to London and visiting every time. Going to Edgware, my favorite place. More than going back to Stamford Hill, which was my original hometown. Edgware is just beautiful. And how did I get into the arts? Very, very simple, actually. I'm the youngest of 10, and my parents are both musical. All my siblings are. It kind of fell on me. Yeah.
So tell us more. What did that look like? You started taking music lessons? How old were you?
So it started with singing. I used to, from kindergarten, since I remember, I always had a lead solo or sang a song by myself at graduation or shows. They always kind of chose me to sing. I already knew how to sing harmony from the age of 5. I remember being in this kindergarten choir and I sang harmony in a mic. I learned it from my siblings, literally. Friday night, I used to watch my sister singing and I just copied them. And so I was kind of like a child soloist since I grew up. I didn't take lessons. I learned breathing techniques from my brother, and my mother taught me. And like our family weren't like well off. So it's expensive to take music lessons and all that, we had to like earn our, if my parents saw we really wanted something badly and we worked hard for it, then they helped us get there. Like when I was old enough, like a teenager, my mother paid for my piano lessons when I wanted to learn, because she saw I was really serious about it, um, not just sending us like stum. And voice lessons, actually, I only started training professionally when I was 16. Before that, I didn't train professionally. I was just singing everywhere. Like, I remember singing at these big fundraising events by myself. Or sometimes I had a partner, like either my sister or I had a classmate of mine who used to like kind of be my partner in singing. But since I'm like 11 or 12 years old, I used to sing by myself at events without being trained. And then I decided to train professionally because I knew I wanted this to be my future. Like, I knew singing was my thing. Although I am a qualified pianist, I went through a music school called ABRSM. And I like thought about being a pianist, but then like I didn't really know how to be a pianist in the femme female Jewish world. Like, I thought singing is gonna be more of a thing. I know some people might think it's hilarious because like, where would singing take you in the femme female world? But I had this thing like, singing will take me somewhere. But piano, I didn't really know where it will take me. So I play all the time. I give piano lessons, but it's kind of my side thing. Singing is my focus, basically.
Wow. So you're also known as someone who is a choir director. So how do you transition? Well, tell us a little bit about how you came to America, but also,
Okay,
yeah.
so let me tell you about how I came to America. So, tell me if I'm interrupting.
No, you're great. You're great.
Okay. I have to remember I'm not the host. So I married an American. We started off in London. He didn't like London, my husband. For an American to live in London is very different. It's like this loud, busy New York City boy coming to live in London, which is quiet and polite, and like all the stores close early. It was a big kind of culture shock for him. And he didn't have any friends there, and I saw like he didn't really love it. We did plan to move to America, but he did say like, if I want to stay longer in London, I can. Like, I don't have to move straight away. But I saw he wasn't really happy in London. So we moved, and we made the right decision. We love it here, Baruch Hashem. He has his friends here. I made some new friends. And actually, my very close classmate that we were friends since kindergarten also moved here. So I have her. Shout out to Gitty. She's watching. We literally like live near each other. It's amazing, like, to have a classmate that actually did the same thing as me, moved cross country, over the ocean, thousands of miles away. But it's hard. I miss my parents a lot. I love my parents and miss them.
Yeah. And side points, I love adding these in. I find that husbands or men, they are, they need their clique. They can't just like move to a whole new place and start over. Women, for some reason, will make new friends wherever we are.
It's true. Like, I have a clique, actually. Like, we're five of us. We were like, before, when I was single, we used to travel everywhere together. Like, I have these cute little photo books of stuff we did together. Like, I really have a clique. But you know what? We connect over video call or over the phone. Like, nowadays, it's fine. You have email, you have video call. Like, you could connect with your friends. I'm more flexible to making new friends and having the old as well. Whereas it's true, the men need their chevra,
They need the minion. The minion they go to and the minion they don't.
Yeah, he like really didn't like the shul in London. He was like, I don't have any friends there. He felt lost. He has his people.
So you come to a brand new country and you're already singing, which is, out of the box. How do you build yourself up here and get so, well known and we'll talk about your projects as we go along, but
So
tell us how you got
it
started
was
with that.
really hard. I felt like a nobody. I came off the plane. I would say the first year I thought like what on earth happened? Like in London I was full-time busy. I had to reject jobs. I was like literally busy, busy, busy all the time. Every event I was part of. Um and I came to America and like there were no phone calls. My phone was dead. Like, hello? It was really weird. And it was hard. I was sad. I used to cry a lot. My husband knows that. But he was great. You know, he told me, don't worry, like it's gonna come. There are lots of people, and it did. You know, Baruch Hashem. I would say even bigger and better than it was. So it was worth it. And how I got my name out, actually, I landed to, like, I landed in the USA, and my mother-in-law got me a substituting job in a school to teach drama, English, language arts. And I like came into that school building. I had no idea what an American school is like. It was weird. I taught there for 6 weeks. It was like someone's maternity leave job. So I taught there for 6 weeks, and I actually did a play with them. Like I did auditions. Like I made a whole play with them because I love acting as well. And those 6 weeks, I got to know people, like in the teaching room, like connections. Example, like one of the people that worked there was an assistant in Rachel's Play Show productions. So like I found out about Rachel's Play Show through that. They found out about me because they saw I was a teacher teaching drama and I was singing there, and they kind of heard me. And then I had a job in the summer. I was a music director in Camp Palgay. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
No.
they don't have it. They don't have it anymore. It was for about 5 years before me. Shane Dillon Tellis was a music director there, and Bracha Jaffe and Malky Ginniger. And then I came to America and I was a music director in that same camp, and I made a concert. And I think kind of putting myself with random stranger people, that kind of put me out there, like word of mouth. I remember my first gig after that summer was like some Hanukkah party from someone who heard that I was in Camp Palgay, like, you know, word of mouth, like advertising being something new. Like, I don't always feel it helps. Like, word of mouth, I think, usually is pretty
The best.
strong. It's stronger, yeah, because they could attest. You know, they've seen you, they've heard you. It was hard. It wasn't easy. You know, anyone who moves countries or says like the grass is greener on the other side, it's not easy. You can't just get out there. It takes time. I mean, I'm here for like over 4 years now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that's pretty new, and
It
yeah,
is. It is.
yeah,
And I still feel like I'm every day, like, you know, I still feel like I'm growing all the time.
100%. So take us through your first big musical accomplishment or your steps. So I know you write your music. Did you start out writing your music? How did
So,
that translate into an album? And then tell us how that connects with choir directing, because now you have
okay.
your own choir. It's not within
Right.
an organization or school.
Right. So my choir it's not like a music school that like whoever wants could be in the choir. Like, I didn't want that. That wasn't my vision. I didn't want to be busy with opening a music school. I want to focus on me being a singer. Now, what every singer dreams of is having a backup choir to back them up. It's not really seen much in the frum female music world. Like, usually the frum female singers are solo singers, but I see the men in the men from world, the singers, you see them always with a backup choir, right? Like Shira choirs, Miras, like, you know, they all have their backup choir. And I'm like, hey, there's no choir. Like, if I want to have this professional concert and be the solo singer, I want a choir backing me up. That would be really cool. So what do? You open up a choir. Um, and the choir have to be like really good singers, people that like catch on harmonies quickly, because I teach them a lot of harmonies, and that was kind of what led me to opening the choir. Like, I wanted something to help my singing career flourish, and others as well, you know. So And I also wanted to produce an album, and an album sounds so much better with a choir in the background. Like, I gave out a single, on a pre-single before my album, and I'm the lead vocal, but then I have my choir like backing me up. It just sounds so amazing, like way better than hearing a solo person singing. I can't explain it. Like, it's just having a choir there. It takes it to a whole nother level. And there wasn't that in the Frum female Jewish music world. There was no choir. So that really was my vision. And about songwriting, so I used to write my own songs, but I never shared it with anyone. I was afraid. I had a little book, and I used to, just keep it hidden in a bedroom drawer. And then I married my husband, and he is a composer. And I actually brought him out, to release his songs, and that brought me to bring out my songs. We kind of were a team. Like, he said, let me hear your songs. And I'm like, no, you're way better than me. And he's like, no, sit down by the piano and sing your song. And I sang my song, and he was like, wow, this is really good. And we were like a team. The album is literally like a team project.
And you self-produced everything? How did you set up your studio and learn how to do all that stuff?
So it wasn't self-produced. So luckily, I have a brother, Gershi Schwartz, who has Edgeware Studios. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
So he is really big in the men from music world. And he was my producer of the album. And he told my husband how to build my studio. Literally, came here, sound check, because he didn't let me record the choir or myself if the room wasn't good. He's like, I'm not gonna produce a CD if the audio quality is bad. Like, no. If you want me to produce your CD, your studio has to be set up well. And he always tells me, it's not about how expensive your equipment is. That doesn't matter. It's about how the room is set up, the sound, that is more important than buying the most expensive products in the market. That's not going to help you. You have to really know if the sound is good. So he came into the room and he does in all sides of the room. And he told us what curtains to have and what products. And I really give a big shout out to my brother Gershi, because I don't know what I would do without him. He helped my husband set up the studio, and he produced my album, and I did pay him. It wasn't I want to tell you something. With family and business, you can't put them together. It's two separate things. You want to use family for your business, you pay them. And that way you'll have a good product. Because if you're going to use up your family to do things for free, it's not worth it. You'll never have your product out. He's professional. He works with all the professional singers. Why should he do me a free album if he has better offers? He'll push it to the side. And we took out loans. We paid him properly. We paid everyone else. It was very expensive, but that's how you get a good product out,
100%. And, I always say it's either you pay with money or you pay with time or other things. Nothing's free. So, here you chose money over using up a relationship or having to be on his back burner forever. So I love how you spoke about that.
And what the good thing was, because I paid him, if he's watching now, I didn't mind nagging him and telling him okay, the deadline is tomorrow. I didn't mind, because I knew I'm paying him. So that was cool.
It's an empowering thing. I also just want to go back to what you said before. I really love that. You said, I wanted a choir because I wanted to sing and have a choir. I'm so used to hearing women talk there's no Jewish this, there's no that. We need to create it because other people need it. And that's great. And that's how new things happen. But it's just so refreshing to hear someone say, I wanted a choir to back me up. So that's how we did it. So go girl, go woman.
Yeah, just follow your dream. I don't know. It's very cliche, but it's true.
And I want to, since you brought up this whole business thing and the paying relationship, I want to go into that a little more. I love to do this on a podcast because I feel like hearing the stories and how women are inspired or talented and how they go, I like to break it down for everyone listening to show really how
it's very tedious. It can be very expensive. There's a lot of like stuff going on in the mind with confidence and with negotiations, and that's not simple. And that's something everyone can learn from, whatever they're doing, whether it's something in the arts or something, completely unrelated. So I like to go into that and break it down and break down the whole celebrity thing down to you weren't always there. You weren't always someone who posted something and a bunch of people just latched onto it and watched it and signed up.
Exactly.
So tell us what it was like in the beginning, and maybe transition into, I don't know where exactly you're going to go with this, but what are your biggest challenges right now?
Are you talking about social media aspect?
Well, it could be anywhere, but I don't know yet what your challenges are. So once you talk about it, I'll be able to ask a little more.
Okay, so I would say my biggest challenge, like now, was the virus. Was really big challenge for me. I thought, what's gonna happen? I was meant to do this big concert on Pesach, on Chol Hamoed, and all my plans fell through, and I couldn't do it because of the virus, and it's still lunging over our heads. We're like, is it gonna happen on Sukkot? Like, we don't know. Back Pesach time, I was like, for sure, Sukkot, we can have the concert. But right now, what things are looking at with the mayor and everything, it doesn't look like it's going to happen on Sukkot. Broadway said they're only opening up in January 2021. So it's like, what's going to happen? Are we going to have to go virtual? Like, we worked really hard. I will tell you, my girls in the choir, they're exclusive. I picked them. There were auditions. I didn't take everyone. I have these 14 exclusive girls, and they're really good. And Mayan Davis is the choreographer, and we trained for a whole year to perform for this concert, which it should be like professional, top. And the concert didn't happen. And now what's going to happen, Sukkot? Like, I want them to have the concert. They've earned it. They worked hard, and that is my biggest challenge right now. It's like, I don't know what's happening, Sukkot. No one knows. So we have to do backup plans. Maybe it will have to be a virtual concert. And it's hard because I didn't want it to be a virtual concert. There's nothing like having that audience, that feel, that feedback. When you're singing on that stage and the audience are cheering you on, you feel so much better rather than being in front of a video camera. That is my biggest challenge right now.
And how about your challenges starting out?
My challenge is what, like right now?
Starting out.
Starting now when?
When you were starting out, what were your biggest challenges?
Starting out! Yeah. See my accent.
Sorry about that.
Starting out sound like starting now.
No, starting out.
Starting out. Okay.
Should I cut this out after, or is it fun to keep this in?
Okay, so I had 2 times that I had to start out. Starting out in London, and then when I moved, starting out in America. So that was hard. So starting out in London, much easier because I grew up there, so people knew me since I'm a little kid. So the gigs that I got there were people that, saw me growing up, performing, word of mouth, very easy. Not easy, but compared to now, yes, I call that easy, But starting out in America was very, very tough. And the challenges there was, I don't really have family here. Beside, like, I have 2 brothers now, but that wasn't back then. Like, I really didn't have anyone. And so you can't have protexia because you have no family. So that doesn't work. You're all alone. I didn't have friends. So you're all alone over there, I had my husband. Which was great, but for the firm female singers world, like, he can't get me a gig, So I opened up a social media account. My sister encouraged me. My sister Fermi, hi Fermi, if you're there. I'm so grateful to her. She said, open up an Instagram account. And I was like, what is Instagram? I had no clue what Instagram was. I was like, not in that world. And she's like, yeah, it will help you, you'll put yourself out there, people will hear about you. And I had no clue how to use it. I opened up an account. I used to post videos of my fingers playing piano. I never showed my face. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know what likes was. Like, I had no clue until like probably a year after opening my Instagram account. I slowly saw what other accounts were doing, and I and then like I decided to kind of copy other people. Like, how are they posting their stuff? And I saw people show their faces, so I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe people want to see my face. They don't only want to see fingers, you know. So I started showing my face, and I would say since I started showing my face on there, I had more people reaching out to me, and I actually got concert bookings and gigs through Instagram. Like, people used to like DM me and say like, oh, could you come to our Hanukkah party? Or we're making a big birthday party. Someone's turning 60. My mother's turning 60. Could you sing for our birthday party? And through Instagram. And then once you do these small gigs, your name goes out. So really, I'm very thankful to Instagram. I never thought I would be, but I am. And my account has been private all the way along, and still is, because of Kol Isha. I'm very into keeping Kol Isha in that way. I know like there are lots of different ways of keeping it. Like, everyone has to ask their own Rav. For some people, it's totally fine to have a public account and sing. Like, really, everyone has to really ask their own guidance. That's very important. So my Rav and my guidance told me that I could have an Instagram account, no problem. I could sing my heart out, but it should be private, and I should look through all the people that request me, make sure they're female. So I've stuck to that. And sometimes it's a challenge. I'm like, I could have like 20,000 followers if I would be public. I declined so many people over the past 4 years. And I keep on even going through my followers and deleting more people that I'm not so sure about them, like they changed their name, So that is a big challenge. But Baruch Hashem, I would say in the last year and a half, I feel like I've kind of grown a lot on Instagram. And become friends with other singers. That was amazing. A network. I've never had that before. I was all alone. So now I think the sisterhood has become a thing lately. The connection between female singers. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, when people invite you to events with Instagram, how do you work with pricing yourself and negotiating? Do you just give out a price and they say yes? Do they usually, want a discount out of you? What would you say your experience has been?
Okay, so here is where the topic of the show was 5 mistakes singers should never do, right?
Yes. Oh, I totally forgot to go into
the answer of this is a mistake. Okay? So a mistake that I did. So I used to like try and do free gigs so that I can get my name out there. When I was like, let's say 3.5 years ago, when I just moved. And that was a big mistake, because then people used to reach out to me and be like, oh, you didn't charge her, so can you sing for me? And I'm like, yeah, but now I do charge. And they're like, yeah, but you didn't charge that person. And that was like the biggest mistake ever. And then so then, like, I started charging a little bit, and then I started raising my price slowly, and because I was so cheap, people were still like, but you only charged that person this amount, so please give me that discount. And people weren't valuing me. It was very like, I felt like they're paying the caterer, they're paying the photographer, they're paying the hall, and me, the singer, like, they don't care. And I felt very like, I didn't feel valued, and I was working hard, and it's my business, my parnasa, and I should get paid like anyone else, They shouldn't look at it like some people look at a singer as if it's something else. No, you want to pay your lawyer, you pay them full price, right? You want to pay a singer, you pay them full price. So what I did was I decided to get an agent, because when you have an agent, the agent speaks for you, and you don't have to have that trouble of dealing with people that want you to sing for free. The agent can speak for you and make your price, and it's much better. So here's my mistake. I wanted an agent. So random people on Instagram reached out to me, can I be your agent? And I was so innocent. And one person persuaded me like all the way that she's going to be the best agent and she's going to take over my page and she's going to rebrand me. And I fell for it. And it was the biggest mistake ever. But it was a good mistake because I learned my lesson. She hacked my account, deleted all my followers, deleted all my posts, literally messed me up. So then I was like, okay, I need to get an agent that I know, but I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone. I'm living in a place and I don't know anyone. So how do I get an agent? I have no idea. I went through a couple of people. Finally, I landed my agent now that, Baruch Hashem, she's amazing. I'll give her a big shout out. I love her. She's so good with all the people that book me now. She's firm. She's technical. She's good. She gets them to pay their deposit. She's amazing. Shout out to Chumi Weber, who is now my agent. How did I get her? She's been my secretary for the Brooklyn Girls Choir for over a year. And I trusted her so much because she worked with me for a whole year that I was like, you know what, Chumi? I want you to be my agent. I trust you. You're my friend. And I feel like I want to tell this to anyone out there. It doesn't only have to be a singer. If you are type of like a self-hiring job that you need an agent, you have to take someone who knows you, your friend, someone you trust. It can't be a stranger. If you take any random stranger out there, it's scary. It really is scary. They can mess up your name. An agent is someone you have to trust. It has to be a good friend. And I went through so many mistakes with agents until I finally landed mine now, Baruch Hashem, and she's amazing. So I'm very.
And she takes a percentage. She takes a percentage of.
Yeah, commission basis. So I did my research before, and I spoke to the other singers, and they're all like, "Yeah, agents take commission basis," and yeah. But it's worth it because I don't have to deal with a headache of people asking me to sing for free, because my agent stands by the number, you know.
Absolutely, you have a gatekeeper protecting you.
That's her job. Like, because I could, you know, the artsy people like us, we get emotional sometimes, and we're like, oh, I'm so sorry, you want to have a discount, okay, you know. But the agent is firm.
Oh yes.
It's very important, and you know, there are some people like from abroad, like I know in America it's very common to have an agent, but like in London it's not, and people are like, "Ooh, you're so fancy, you have an agent." I'm like, it's not fancy, it's needed. It's a necessity.
Yes, and it's crazy how you had to like totally start from scratch. I mean, for anyone listening out there, very often, if something sounds too good to be true, very often it is, if it's coming from a stranger. So that's the difference. If something's too good to be true, but you trust and know a person, that's a whole different
situation. That is a mistake. Never take a stranger to be your agent or to help you build your business. Don't trust strangers. They're not there to help you.
Yes.
So that was a really big mistake. Yeah.
So moving on to mistake number 3, what would you say that is?
Okay, so another mistake, equipment for a singer, okay? Now, men are very lucky. They hire a man singer and you come there and you have a full band, the Freilich band or the whatever band, you know? And they have all the equipment, the best, top notch. But us from female singers, no, we don't have a band hired. They're hiring you for a gig. It means you have to bring your mic, your speaker, your backing tracks. And a big mistake is to rely on whoever's hiring you that they're going to have a good speaker system and a good mic. I did this mistake. I did it even recently, very recently, even if I knew it was a mistake, and I still did it. And I have to keep on reminding myself, no, I need to make sure the sound system is good, because if you have a bad sound system and bad equipment, you're not going to sound good to the crowd. So what's the point? So I slowly invested. I bought my own mic. I bought my own speaker now. You need your own little mixing box to make sure that you have good, you know, sound. And it's expensive. And you're thinking like, why do I have to buy all this equipment? I'm just a singer. But because we're in the firm female singing world, we're not men, and we don't get the bands, and we have to bring our own equipment. It's a necessity. Again, it's a mistake to to take a job and just rely on them, they're gonna have the speaker and the mic, and then you arrive to the hall and their mic is half broken and the speaker keeps on static and cutting out, and what? Like, so very nice, they're paying you to sing, but then you don't sound good on all the videos that people are taking of you. So yeah, that's a big mistake. Don't rely on the equipment of the people that hire you. If you want to use their equipment, no problem. Make research. Ask them, send me a screenshot of your speaker, send me a screenshot of your mic, send me a screenshot of your mixing books. And that is the only way, you know, that you can trust it. But don't just take it for granted. Oh, they have a speaker and a mic. Perfect. Because I've gone through those mistakes. And it was so upsetting because I knew I sang well. And then I see on the video, it sounded terrible. You know?
Impossible. But sometimes, you know, you can't perform and manage your own speaker system. Sometimes you do need a second pair of ears or somebody who's just not performing to be manning everything.
So what I do is when I go to local gigs, like let's say upstate New York now in the summer, or here even in New York, what I would do is my husband would come with me, help me set up the speaker and the mic, and I would do a sound check with him before the crowd are there. So he would stand in all four corners of the room, tell me if I sound good, and like adjust the volume, and my husband would be my tech guy. But I know there are some people that hire tech guys, and that makes you more expensive. So it's a little tricky because someone's not going to want to pay you more money because you're paying for a tech guy, you know? So it's tricky. So in the long run, it's worth it to invest in your own equipment as a firm female singer. Have your own mic, have your own in-ear pieces, have your own speaker. And in the long run, it's just worth it because you'll sound good and you won't have to pay for a tech guy every single time. You could even speak to a tech guy and have presets on your mixer. So when you go to a gig, you know, you sound good already. You know, like, that was a very big mistake that I've been doing until very recently. I relied on equipment from other places.
Yeah, big thing.
And it's not easy because I travel to gigs. Like, I was traveling the past month and I couldn't take my speaker with me on the plane. But you know what, next time I would do? I would pay for overweight and take with that speaker. Because it's worth it to sound good. I'm
just so fascinated. I just wonder if men really don't deal with that. I mean, the bands have to bring their stuff.
They don't go through that. The men singers, they put on their suit and they go to a gig.
Show up. And they don't even have to do their hair and makeup.
Oh, no. No dresses. They don't even have to worry about babysitting because automatically their wife is just going to babysit.
So let me ask you about this now that you brought it up. Do you feel like women should get paid more because it costs them so much more to be on a stage than a man?
100% yes. But let's see what will happen.
Yeah. That's a topic I'd love to
and I love it. I see
more.
My mother laughing. I love that. She knows, like, I'm always telling her, you know, the men, like, they just go to the gigs, they put on their suit, and they could even have, like, a white shirt tucked into their pants, and they don't have to look good. They could be any size they want. They don't have to worry about their weight, and they're fine. They're a good singer. And here, us with the ladies, we have the pressure of having the perfect dress and looking good, and no extra flesh sticking out. Like, you have to be skinny, and I'm not. I'm like the fat singer. Men don't have women problems in singing, and I feel like us women do deserve more money, but let's make it happen slowly. We can. If we all stick to our prices, us women singers, and we slowly bring up the prices together, like if only one singer is going to bring up the price, it's not worth it because they're going to hire the cheaper singers. All the singers together kind of have to get together, make a big meeting, and we all have to raise our prices and stick to it. And if we do that, we could change the world. We could.
I've been saying this forever. I think we should organize a Zoom meeting with everyone.
Yes, literally. Because if we don't pick up our prices, they're never going to value us like a singer is meant to be. I mean, if you want to bring in Mordechai Shapiro, he's $15,000 and no problem, because someone will want Mordechai Shapiro and they'll pay it to him. But why aren't we as good? I think we're great. I think we're awesome singers. I mean, when I'm on that stage, I'm using up my energy, and I had babies, you know?
Totally. Well, someone just asked, and I think it's interesting. It's not fair. Why do we, as women who want to book women as singers, have to pay more? Well, it's not necessarily. I think we're just asking to be paid what men get paid. We're not yet at the more. We're
no,
still...
no one is. No one is.
Yes. And whoever posted what's a gig is a job that's a creative job usually.
I know, I get that all the time. Like, it's very quick language. I'm like, let's say I'm talking on the phone to one of my siblings. I'm like, oh, I have a gig in like 10 minutes. So I have to put down, like, what's a gig? It's just so easy to say. It's like quick word, you know?
And this is not about feminism. This is talking about, reality, and somebody brought that up. What's available, what opportunities are available to the Jewish from women and what is not. And we're breaking down all this like, oh, Dobby Baum, she has 1,000,000 followers and she's so amazing and so famous. No, it comes with a lot of challenges. There are a lot of obstacles. We do not have the opportunities men do. So this is why this conversation is happening, because if you're 12 or 14 and you're watching this and you're like, I want to be Dobby when I grow up, this is something you want to know when you're 12, because there's no illusion here of you know, we're not going to have Jewish chuppahs you're going to be singing at. That's the bottom line. Okay, so we have, I think, mistake 4 and 5 left.
I haven't, yeah. Okay, so another mistake. Hold on, I have to remember. Okay. This mistake is never, you know, there's like a lot of singers, okay? Well, now I can say that. A few years ago, no, I couldn't say that there were. But I think now there's quite a lot of from female singers out there. And sometimes you can self-doubt, and you can watch them singing on a video, and you'd be like, am I good? Like, oh my gosh, she's singing like that high note. Or like, oh my, she sounds so soft. Or like, oh my, she sounds so powerful. Don't self-doubt your voice. Everyone's voice is different. And why are people hiring me for my voice? They're not hiring me for someone else's voice. So the biggest mistake is to start trying to copy being someone else's sound. Don't do that. Be your own sound. If someone is hiring Dobby Baum, it's because they want Dobby Baum's sound. If someone is hiring ... because they want that sound, you know? It's, what's the point? You shouldn't try and be someone else. Be your own singer. If you have a really powerful voice, keep that power. You be you. People should know you're the power. If you have that soft, gentle voice, keep it, because people are going to know you as the soft, gentle voice. It's a big mistake where people think they have to copy other people's way of singing. Don't do that. Be your own voice. That's why people will love you. People will love you for you. Hi, Devorah. She says she always says that to her students. Good. I'm happy. Just be yourself, because people are going to like you and hire you for being your own voice. Literally.
I love that. That's an important message.
Avram Fried is Avram Fried for his voice. You can't try and be the same voice. And Dedi is Dedi for his voice. And Mordechai Shapiro is Mordechai Shapiro for his voice. You can't be a different singer. You have to find your voice. Don't be afraid. Don't self-doubt. Try and listen to yourself. You know, you feel like you're good. Trust yourself. They want you for you. And that's a big mistake, is not to trust yourself and try and copy someone else. You know?
Absolutely. And how about 5?
Okay, so the other one was, hold on, I'm just remembering. I wrote it down, by the way. I wrote 6 down. I'm trying to remember the other mistake, what a singer should never do. They're all mistakes that I've done in the past, and I learned from my mistakes. So
how else would you know?
I'm very, what?
How else would you know they're mistakes?
Exactly, you know? it's good. You learn from mistakes. What did Devora say? You told me earlier about sound. Yeah, Devora, we spoke about the sound system. You missed it. She's telling me the mistake of audio equipment. You missed it, Devora. I spoke all about audio equipment. Yeah, because Devora and I were talking about it last night about audio equipment.
Well,
Yeah.
someone's asking, do they pay for airfare? Everything should be discussed in your negotiations, and yeah, it should not come out. Yeah.
If someone wants you to fly to Chicago for an event, they pay for your airfare. That's not even a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's amateur to think that you want to go to Chicago on a night they need you there.
Yeah, like what? But no.
I love it when they're like, we're putting you up. I'm like, well, I have a house at home where I'm happily needed and want to be. So yeah, please do put me up.
Especially, you know, I have my 2 little kids at home and my husband. You can't just like leave for one night and you have to pay for your airfare as well. Like, no, not happening. If I happen to be in the area, you know, like someone here is like, oh, Dobby's in London now, let's hire her. Fine, I'm already there, you know. But to fly over for a gig, no, you pay.
Okay.
There was another mistake I wanted to tell everyone. You know what? I can check because I wrote it on my notes. How amazing are notes? You write it down.
Notes are amazing, but when all your devices are being used to record this,
I could check it on my computer.
Okay, great.
Because
in the meantime, anyone who's listening, I'll just tell people how you can access the Francisca Show podcast. So for anyone who has an iPhone or Android, there's a podcast app. It's free. The Apple phones already have them, and then you search the Francisca Show. You click subscribe, and then all the episodes. We actually have our 100th episode coming out next month, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, once you subscribe, you get notifications every time they come out. They're also available on YouTube, and you can just stream them from my website also. Did you get your 5th one, Dobby?
What?
Did you find your notes?
Yeah, found it now.
Wonderful.
All right, here we go. Spoke about the agent. I spoke about the equipment. I think my biggest nightmare was my agent hopping. Like hopping from agent to agent until...
It sounds like it was a traumatic experience
also. It was traumatic because I literally had this stranger on Instagram that it was very, you know, it was even traumatic for my husband. He saw me go through that, you know, just being, it's not fun. What's up with my computer? It's not letting me click that.
Okay, so let's just talk about the next thing I want to discuss here.
Okay, no problem.
So you started this amazing, the Dobby Show, throughout COVID, and that sort of has transformed your schedule a little bit, and this became a total new thing, and it's so popular, and you share your platform with so many other singers and other talented women. Talk about that, and what have you learned through this experience? What do you feel has changed over the last few months?
Sure. So if you would have asked me like a month before COVID if I'm gonna have a Dobby show, I would say like, nope, not in my plans. I'm busy. I'm not planning to start anything up. But COVID came, and I was a little bit, not depressed, but I was sad. My concert got cancelled for Pesach. I had gigs lined up, and they were all cancelled, and I was really sad. And all my voice students said that like a lot of them couldn't continue due to financial reasons because their parents' businesses shut down. And other ones, I teach a lot of very Hasidic people that don't have Wi-Fi access, and they couldn't do virtual lessons with me. And it was really sad for me. And I was bored, and also not, I was just like, I need fulfillment. You know, I love looking after my kids. I absolutely love them so much. But as a creative, artsy person, I need to be busy all the time with new things. Like, it's just, you know, like Do you get me?
I totally get it. My husband's like, why did you just sign up for this thing or come up with this idea for this panel or project?
I had even this conversation. You know Malky Weingarten?
No.
She's a comedian and she's a film writer. So she, she lives near me. So we were like talking about it. We were like, we need to do something. We can't just sit and do nothing. So I was like, okay, so what should I do? And then Brecha Jaffe casually invited me on an Instagram live one night. Like it was really lastminute.com. She was like, okay, I'm going to ask you some questions. You're going to ask me questions. We're going to sing. And we did it. And I had so much fun. It was like right after Purim, literally the week that we were all in lockdown. And I was like, Brecha, this is so fun. I want to do this again. So she was like, sure, invite me onto yours. So I did one and I invited her. And we had a lot of fun. And I'm like, hey, this is so much fun. Like, okay, let me bring you on more singers. So I was all into singers. So, Francisca, you came on. So in the beginning, I used to bring on singers all the time. And then I got feedback from people that are not really into singing. And they're like, could you bring on comedians or actresses or like...
You just had Shimmy, right? This week.
I didn't have Shimmy. No. I had Marion Fine.
Okay.
She's a comedian. She's hilarious. So I started branching out, and Shimmy just had a baby girl, actually. Mazel tov.
Oh, mazel tov.
Yeah.
Totally messed it up, but I was watching.
Don't worry. So basically, I started branching out and having different guests, and all the shows were free because due to COVID, a lot of people didn't have income, and we had to do it free. So I set up a donation link. Some people gave me donations after they watched the show if they liked it, but most people obviously didn't. And my Zoom during COVID, during the height of COVID, we're not over it, but I mean, like, in the height when everyone was literally locked up in the house and no one went out, and I had every Zoom was maxed out, over 1,000 people, and the donations that came through were maybe 5 people from each show. And I said they could give me like $2, doesn't matter, like just show appreciation. But
our Instagram is going to end in half a minute.
Oh no. Okay. Basically, it was something I didn't plan, and you know what? It helped me. It really helped me a lot. It was something that just, I think it got me more exposure, and I didn't plan it, which is amazing because it was spontaneous.
Yeah.
Literally.
So after this goes off, we're gonna just restart it.
But so I have actually like my notes pulled up if you still want to hear the other mistake.
Yeah, we'll do the last mistake and then we're gonna close up.
Okay, so the last one is that you have to know your crowd. You have to find your comfort zone, what type of songs you always want to sing. You can't be everything. Like, you can't decide that you're gonna be a Hasidic singer, and you're also going to be an Israeli singer, and you're also going to be a Broadway singer, and you can't be everything.
Choose your niche.
Yeah. Very, very important. You have to, your crowd has to know who you are. When they're hiring you, they're like, oh, Dobby, she sings like these type of songs. You have to know your crowd, know what type of songs you want to be. Basically know what you want to be as a singer. You have to think it through. You can't just decide to like, I want to please everyone. You can't please everyone. Be your own type of genre, and people will hire you for that. Like, that's another mistake that people get scared. They're like, I have to like sing every type of song because otherwise, people are not going to be satisfied. But no, be yourself. If you want to sing only your own originals, stick to that. You want to sing other people's songs, stick to that. I think it's. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it's the easiest. Go for what you're the best at and what you enjoy the most, and don't focus on everything else. Focus on making that the best you can make it.
Yeah, like if you love singing only guitar country songs, stick to that. Don't try to be a pop singer.
Yeah.
Like, it's just very important, I find. And why am I saying a mistake? Because when I started out singing, I had no clue. I was just like trying out to sing all types of songs. But now I found my niche. I know what I sing. And I know I'm not good at Hebrew. So I'm not gonna try and be a Hebrew singer. I'm not good at it. I'll sound hilarious. People won't appreciate it. they prefer hearing it from a Hebrew singer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So I stick to, I'm very good at English. So I sing.
Why are you laughing?
I'm saying I'm good at English. Most people here, I don't know many languages. I really don't. I know 2 languages, Yiddish and English. That's it. I know how to read Hebrew, and that's it. That's where it goes. So I think, yeah, a big mistake is trying to be everything. Stick to one niche. Very important.
Oh yes. Okay.
And I'm no business coach. I just learned from my own mistakes.
Well, guess who is a business coach?
You.
Yes, I am. And I just love this conversation with you because it was also sharing your story, but it was all about bringing value and breaking down any stereotypes or myths people may have of someone like you. And I love the last one, especially. I loved all the mistakes that you learned from, but I love the last one. And not that you had to go through them, but the fact that you're able to stand here today, sit here and teach that and explain this to other aspiring artists or, existing artists, that it's a struggle. It never ends. Choose your niche, keep working at it. And if people do want to hire you, how can they reach you? What's the best way?
So I have my agent, Chumie Weber. She has actually an Instagram account that is CHUMIE Web, so Chumie Web. And then she also has she has an email address that is chumie@dobbybaum.com. So it's CHUMIE@dobbybaum, DOBBYBAUM.com. That's the email address you can reach out to. And she also shares her phone number, that if you want to speak to her, better to email her first. And if you're serious about a gig, she'll give you her phone number and you can call her and speak to her. She's very easy to talk to and she's amazing. Chumie Weber, shout out to you, my best agent. So awesome. That's the way to contact me for a gig.
That's really great. I'm so happy.
I'm a big traveler. I love traveling. So if you bring me to other parts of the world, I'll be so happy. I'll buy another mug. I collect mugs.
Or another mic.
I collect mugs from everywhere I go.
That's awesome. And for anyone who wants to reach me, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, Franziska Music, and ask me all your questions there. I know there were lots of questions coming in. We obviously couldn't address everything, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'm so happy to be connected with all of you. And Dobby, thank you so much for finally did this, for coming onto the show and sharing your story with us.
It's such an honor to be on here, and I really had fun, and I'm not nervous anymore.
That's great, because we're done.
And by the way, I will be in London from August 10th for 2 weeks. So if anyone in England or London wants me, I'll be there. You won't have to pay for my flight. So
yeah, that's awesome. So that's a great way to take advantage. And reach out to Dobby on Instagram or directly to Chumie. Book Dobby, and we wish you much hatzlacha with everything you do.
It's
such an honor to be your friend.
Amazing. And I could already imagine that you're an amazing business coach just from this whole conversation today. So anyone wants to have some coaching on how to be successful, go to Franziska.
I love that. And I'm happy to talk to you too, because you sound like so much fun to talk to.
Thanks.
So we'll be in touch. And
hope we meet one day.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Okay.
Have a good one, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. This will be available on the podcast, as I said. And
you're saving it to IGTV?
I am, but I think I might take it down in a day or so.
Okay.
And then post the link to the podcast, because that's where we have all the information before now.
Amazing.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Thank you so much. Don't forget to send me the recording.
And thanks again so much for listening until the end. I really hope this episode was extremely valuable to you. I know it was valuable to me. And the whole idea of our new episodes is all about how we can share stories, but also bring value to you and educate you more and give you all the tools and strategies and everything you need for what you are doing, because now that I've been doing this podcast for almost 3 years, I know more about you, the listener, and what you're looking to do with your business or with your hobbies. And we are customizing this for you, and I'm so happy you keep coming back. I am so happy you are reaching out. That's been its whole challenge of in itself, figuring out who is listening, why you're listening, and what you keep coming back for. So I hope I am serving you. I really, really put my heart and soul into this. I hope you enjoy this. If you do, please reach out to me. Let me know. You can also follow me on Facebook, on Instagram. Now, obviously, the Artpreneur Facebook community group where I hold trainings and sometimes I just talk about different concepts. Catch me on Instagram. Sometimes I'm doing random lives with cool different things. For example, a week ago, I brought you into my studio and I showed you how I record a cover. So that was super fun. And in general, just be in touch. I love it. I hope you love it too. Please subscribe to this podcast and also share this podcast with your friends, with people you think that may benefit from hearing this content. Also, I love hearing your suggestions. And a quick reminder, if you would like to join my absolutely free challenge that is taking place next week, a 4-day training on how to earn an extra $1,000, please message me, send me your email address, and you will be able to join. See you next time.